Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of Topic Time with Harrison Young. The summer is just rushing right by after that 4-month hiatus, but the shows are getting hotter, as hot as can be, and we got a great one for you tonight, too, as usual, another wonderful musical guest. Before we get to her, we got to read these incredible underwriters, and then we will start the show. We've got a few new ones. We got another first new one is KGS Custom Machine in Stoughton, the king of horsepower for your Harley Davidson. We got T. Martini and Son floor covering in Abington. No job is too big or too small. We got my buddy Dave Lynch of Lynch's Towing, Cycle, Truck, and Center and Towing. We got, that's in Brockton. We got Chapin Sheds in Whitman. We got South Shore tent rentals and tables. The owner is Jim. His number's on the graphics. Chapin Sheds is in Whitman. Like I said, the new one, Perfectly Flavored Cafe in East Bridgewater. Sweezy Fence Erectors in Whitman. Easton Fitness, right in the village shops right here in North Easton. And Brighton Tire in Brockton. C&J Auto Body in Stoughton. And the PC Guyz in Northeastern, right down the road, my friend Danny DeRusso. I want to thank you guys very much, and now we will start the show officially. Here we go. Okay, again, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Topic Time with Harrison Young. This young lady here, a very colorful person, and she's brought her guitar with her, another original singer-songwriter. This is Jenna Lynn Austin, and we talked a few weeks ago about getting her on the show. She said she'd love to do it, and here she is. And Jenna Lynn Austin, you just go by Jenna or Jenna Lynn?
Whatever.
I know, but sometimes when people put their first three names on a Facebook page or any graphic, they like to be called by the first two of those names, but that's okay. But Jenna's been working so far, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, Jenna, I want to thank you for coming in and being on my show tonight. And
it's a pleasure.
We're gonna talk to you a little bit about. We're gonna find out what your history is in music, and then we're gonna let you perform a couple of your original songs. Mm-hmm. You told me you had two diverse type of songs that you have to perform, and I can't wait to hear both of them.
Yeah, thank you.
So at 10-minute intervals, we'll hear them both. But first of all, I want to find out what you're about. Where did you grow up? How did you get into music? What were you like as a kid?
Absolutely.
And if I have any questions, I'll throw them in. So
absolutely. So I grew up in Acton, Massachusetts.
Acton?
Yes.
Great town.
It's a wonderful town.
Tough Acton to Acton.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. I just love throwing that in for effect.
I love it.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a wonderful school system, and I had a lot of opportunities to, just learn and grow there. I mean, I was a little bit of a different kind of kid. I was like a punk rocker, and I just kind of rebelled a lot.
Yeah. And how young were you when you were rebelling?
Oh gosh, probably started around 12, and here I am still.
So you didn't. The adolescent transition was kind of rough for you, but you made the most of it. I get it. Yeah, okay, me too.
Yeah. But through like some up and downs, music really was such a huge influence in my life, and poetry, and I really found a lot of comfort in music.
Okay.
And
as do a lot of us, as I do too. Yep.
Yeah. So I went to a really cool theater art camp, and I learned how to play guitar there.
What's it called and where was it?
It's called MSSA, Middlesex School of Summer Arts.
Okay.
Fun fact, Captain America actually went there as well.
Who did?
Chris Evans, Captain America.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right, where's it located? I assume
it's
Middlesex County, but what city or
in
town?
Concord.
Oh, Concord, next to Acton.
That's right.
I know the area.
So it was a wonderful opportunity. I learned a lot about music and production a little bit there, and I took lessons, and then I just tried to learn every song that I could relate to, and I've been playing ever since.
Okay, quick question about, now you mentioned music, you find music soothing, we all do. Mm-hmm. Do you have any, just curious, who were your most influential artist, if you have any music?
Oh my goodness. So
you can name a few or none at all, but I just looking at you, I get a feeling you had some musical influences somewhere out there, and I want to know who they were.
Well,
if I'm right.
So
if I'm not, then that's okay too.
If I talk about like my punk rock roots, like I liked the Misfits, and I liked Bad Religion, and I liked a lot of like punk rock, but it was always like kind of melodic and like some melodies in there. So that gave me kind of like an edge, and I try to sound like bad, you know, when I sing, but I have a very folky voice. And you know, I grew up listening to like Simon and Garfunkel and like Creedence, and that was big, like heavily like in my upbringing.
Yep.
So I think I carry that along with my sound, and I still listen to them. I mean, Tracy Chapman I love, and a lot of folk artists I really am into.
So you like a mix. You like a mellow mix with a little bit of a little bit of dash in there.
Yeah.
I get it.
I'm very eclectic, all over the board, really.
Yeah. Okay. No, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Now tell me about when you went to this camp. What did you learn exactly? What did you learn to play? The guitar and then sing?
Yeah, I took a course, like they had it kind of like courses through the day. So I took guitar, like learning how to play guitar. So once I learned the fundamental chord structures, you can, you know 4 chords, you can play about a million songs.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually took piano lessons for 7 years, so
nice.
I got to tell you, I used to think maybe it'd be more fun to try the guitar. The piano's a lot. I mean, the truth is, speaking for myself, my experience is that I could play some songs from memory, and people thought I was really talented, and they thought I was, like I could be an amazing prodigy someday. But you got to really stick with it. You got to feel it. You got to feel the passion, and I really didn't. And I love music. I love the fact that I can read notes, and something like riding a bike, you'll always, have it for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. But I just, after 7 years of feeling like going nowhere, I finally quit lessons after being afraid to really face my family and my teacher, after all that time. And I was kind of, it's not sad, but it was kind of disappointing that I couldn't take it to the next level. But we all have to find our niche in life, and I guess this is mine.
Yeah.
But this is yours too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, music for me, it's more than like a hobby. It's really my soul. Like if I am having like a bad day, or even when I can't sleep at night, if I play a song, it gets something out of me. I believe like the vibrations of music, like music's the universal language.
It totally is.
And it just, it's
Doesn't
something
even
magical
speaking
to
the way you worded it, it's like you can hear a song that's sung in a foreign language, but if it sounds good, it's still a great song. We don't care.
Like energy, it's really, I think the world is all about energy, and what everyone believes is really important. But you don't have to speak a language or know a culture, but if you hear those sounds and somebody's voice and the pain in their voice or the happiness in their voice, it's like you can understand them without knowing exactly what they're saying,
You're absolutely right.
So.
Quick question, have you ever taught any music anywhere in some degree? Or thought of doing it?
Well, I did a little bit, yeah, but I mean, I'm such a free spirit kind of musician. I don't really like adhere to like very strict rules when it comes to it. So for me to be disciplined enough to really like give structured lessons, I bet I could. I have taught a few people how to like hold a guitar, how to like play a few chords. Something I might, do more so in the future.
Okay, I'm glad we covered that, because no, I mean the way you express yourself musically, when you discuss it, it makes a lot of sense that you could convey that message to a lot of people by just telling them, what you told me, which is incredible, which is absolutely right.
Yeah.
You obviously have a passion for it, and okay, so you've been playing. This is being that you started at 12. That means you've been playing now for like 2/3 of your life.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I mean, like you said before, playing and then not knowing where you're going, like with it. I mean, for music, for me, like I always had the rock star mentality, and I always had like the starseed mentality. But there were times in my life where I didn't play as much, swept up in other things. But during different bouts in my life, like when I was in college, it was so cool to meet.
Where did you go to college?
I went to Salem State.
Mass.
Yeah.
Okay. Got
And,
relatives up there, so I know Salem.
I love the North Shore.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
So actually, one of the songs I'm going to perform, I thought of it in traffic on the way to my friend's apartment in Beverly. So,
For today?
Oh no, it was, oh goodness, a while back.
No, because what you told me, we just okay. What we discussed on Facebook was that you had 2 diverse type of songs.
Yes.
Okay. Well, why don't we hear? We got a message from our wonderful producer Kim that we're 10 minutes into the show. Why don't you start one now and name the title, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, this one's called "Stay in Your Own Lane."
Give me a little respite and some musical relief that I could use.
Yeah.
Okay. Name the title and play the song.
Oh, it's called Stay in Your Own Lane.
Stay in your own lane?
Yes.
Oh, that's why you've thought about it on the highway. I get it. Okay.
I did, yeah.
I think that all the time. Now we'll hear how the musical version sounds. Go for it.
All right. Oops, sorry. 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. My seatbelt's locked, you're angry again. One last fight, you shouldn't be driving. Outside, people smile at me. I sit incongruous, complacently denying all the allegations thrown my way. It's late at night, you shouldn't be driving on the highway. We no longer collaborate our lives, living through one another's eyes. And it's starting to rain, will we die, will we stay? Stay in your own lane, stay in your own lane, stay in your own lane. You shouldn't be driving. What is to come of this animosity? Last night completed everything to me. The joys in our lives were loved in good times, and now it's time to throw it all away. The sky looks heavy and gray. We no longer collaborate our lives, living through one another's eyes. And it's starting to rain, will we die, will we stay? Stay in your own lane, stay in your own lane, stay in your own lane. You shouldn't be driving, stay in your own, it's equivocal. All that's left is just pain, stay in your own lane. Stay in your own lane.
Wow, that's awesome. It almost sounds more like a monologue turned into a song.
Yeah.
Okay.
kinda.
Like that's interesting because it's the original that you preach your feelings about what what other people ought to be doing to stay safe.
Yeah.
Instead of just like it's just like you're telling them what they should be doing and you put it in song form.
Right.
And in a way that adding that the music it exemplifies it to more of a to kind of to a sharper pitch and then it might just be screaming it at people. I think people get it more like that, and that's unique. That to me is like like whenever you have a thought in your mind, you write it down and it becomes a song.
That's it.
Yeah, and it can be it can just be like you speaking to a bunch of people and then it comes out as a song. You figure like you're gonna talk to somebody, you might as well make a musical.
Right.
It's a message anyway. You might as well.
That's it. No, I remember I was heading to Beverly, and I was like, I got cut off twice, and I was so angry, and I wanted to like scream or whatever, but I feel like when you like
Was it raining and late at night, just like in the song?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
See, I picked that up.
Yep. And then I also had an altercation with somebody I was with, I believe, and I thought about like this is it, and this is.
You're a feisty one, huh?
I'm such a feisty one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, big time.
Well, in a way, that's interesting too, because it's almost like I never thought of it, but when you think about some of the inspirations that for any song or any artwork, some of it could be negative turned positive. Like I know, I mean, some people are confrontational. Some people, I'll put it this way, I'm sure most people aren't deliberately confrontational, but some people's buttons get pushed easy, and it sounds like you're one of those people.
Well, my grandmother used to call me the girl with the curl. When she's good, she's
Oh yeah,
really,
I know.
really
When you're good, you're great. When
And
you're bad,
she's
you're terrible. I know.
she's
I've seen
horrid.
that. I remember that bedtime story too.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm like 97% happy all the time, and then it's like I give people a lot of chances.
Okay.
Like, I give them a lot of chances, and the people I love, I do anything for them ever.
Yep.
But you cross me enough times, and I'm like.
Well, tell me now. You mentioned you have 2 kids, and the reason I'm asking about, I usually don't talk about other people's, family members, but in this case, I think it's interesting. I think it's pertinent because I want to know if they're an influence on your music at all. And if
Well, I
you're
have
saying
one
anything.
son is my son. Then my son has a half brother, so he's not really my son, but I'm like Auntie Jenna, so he's kind of like my son also.
Okay.
But like we have I'm really blessed actually. I have such a beautiful relationship with my son and
Okay.
my son's father and his girlfriend.
Awesome.
yeah, sometimes things can get messy when it comes to
Oh, I know that.
really messy. But you know,
You don't usually hear stories of people, you know, after you know splitting up with a lover, still feeling like warmth and compassion for them, and their new, and especially the new one in the picture. So that's pretty impressive.
yeah, it's wonderful though. I mean,
It
it
is.
wasn't always like sunshine
How old is
and
your son?
roses. My son's 8.
Okay, so he's still at a
Yeah.
young age,
Yeah.
impressionable and stuff.
Yeah, he's a little rock star too. He's got a little guitar.
He's a rock star too. Well,
He's
that's what I was
a lot
getting
like
at.
me.
Does he sing and play music at all?
He actually is very talented. He loves like rap and hip hop, but he also has a very melodic, folky side to him too.
Okay.
So
You hear where he got it from.
And sometimes, you know, if he's feeling a lot of emotion, I really encourage him to freestyle. So we'll go for a drive, or we'll just be at home and we'll throw on some random beats. And that's the only time I tolerate him, if he slips a swear word in there or two. I'm like, you're expressing yourself, you know? If you need to get it out, if you're angry, you need to get it
wow,
out
I
through
like that.
songs. Let's do it through music, you know?
Okay.
Let's get it out. Like, let's go and, you know, punch some punching bags, and let's sing some songs and sing about how we're feeling, and that way.
So
we
there's no
don't-
problem with profanity when it comes to the music. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Well, you know, there's an interesting. I can draw an interesting parallel to that in my own family. Do you know who Sarah Silverman is, the comedian?
Oh yeah.
She's my
wonderful.
cousin.
Get out of here.
Swear to God, she's my cousin.
Oh my, I love her.
Well, she's
That's
something.
incredible.
Well, the
She's
reason I
so
brought her up,
awesome.
the reason I mean, I like to drop that factoid to people I have on the show.
Yeah.
But the thing about her background was that her father, when she was a baby, he'd swear his head off in front of her, and he loved. You know how children mimic their parents.
Oh, yeah.
So he thought it was hilarious the way she'd mimic his profane side. And then, wow, look where she is now. So obviously it paid off to some degree, I guess.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And
That's
she
great.
plays music too. She's a singer.
Yeah, she's so talented. I totally look up to her. She's amazing. I can't believe that. Wow.
Well,
Sarah.
where do you think I got it from?
That's so great.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
so awesome. The world's small, you know?
Yeah,
And
okay.
every day's a blessing.
She lived in our area. I mean, she grew up in Bedford, New Hampshire, the same Adam Sandler's neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so
That's crazy.
you know the area. You probably don't live too far from there.
Yeah, probably not. Maybe
Well,
not.
speaking of entertainment, have you ever like being that you're so good at expressing yourself with lyrics? Have you ever done any like comical songs to people? Just
Oh, yes.
Okay, well, talk about that a little bit.
When I was in college,
Salem State, right?
Salem State. Salem has the most intense energy out of, you know, I think most of it anywhere in Massachusetts personally.
Okay.
And, you know, the people that I made connections with there and some of my friends, you know, I like to freestyle a lot, do a lot of improv.
Okay.
So if I'm having a lot of ways I come up with my songs is that I'll have a really strong feeling. And funny thing is when I get really excited, I would sing songs about my friends, and I made one for my friend Carrie, and it was really funny. And so, like, going with that whole theme of like how you're feeling and getting it out, I have done some.
Okay,
big
great.
ones, yeah.
Okay, I mean, but I'm saying, did you ever get up on stage at school and sing some funny stuff?
No, I never.
I mean, you know, when you
it's
think
something
about.
to
I mean, I'm just
about.
wondering. I mean, I'm trying to. I like to give advice to my guests that might help model. It sounds to me like if you thought about some of your most humorous moments, you could
Yeah.
convert that into music too, and it would be.
Yes.
It would, you know, you'd make people laugh, kind of like Mark Russell, the satirist, the piano, you know, the guy who does political humor.
Okay.
Or you know,
I don't really know.
Well, Mark Russell, you look him up if you don't remember. He's maybe
Mark
before your
Russell.
time because he was big in the '70s and '80s, and you were born in the '80s. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people aren't into political humor. I'm just using him as an example. Or maybe this guy named Victor Borge. You probably not heard of him either. He's passed away, but he used to play funny songs and sing them on the piano. He was a Danish guy.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so that might be something you want to consider. That way, you can have your anger, but you can also have your humor too,
love
and you
that.
can convert that into more songs.
That reminds me of a time that I went to the laundry room, and I was like, I bet the acoustics are really great in here. It was a Friday night,
Yeah.
and I was doing
You mean the
laundry.
laundromat?
And no, in my building, the laundry site of my building.
Oh, in your apartment?
Yeah, in my apartment.
Oh, I
yeah.
got you. Okay.
So I sat there and I played my guitar as I'm getting my laundry done, and I'm like, it's Friday night and I'm here doing laundry, and it's wicked funny. So I think
course.
that's a great thing that you brought that up.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
fun.
I mean, you say you like to write poetry too, right?
Yes.
Okay, and some of the poetry you converted to music, and others Other songs, other parts of it, you don't convert.
Right.
Okay, well, guess what? We're 20 minutes into the show. Do another song, and then we'll talk about the poetry that you write, and then we'll wrap the show up.
Awesome. And it's such a good segue because this song, sometimes I even get choked up singing it because it's called Equality, and it's a folky song, and it's really about the world and how to make it, kind of
Okay.
a better place, or like my thoughts of it.
Let's go.
So,
Let's
all
hear
right.
it. Equality. By
Equality.
Jenna, Lynn, Easton. Go for it.
I look at our faces and wonder why we were looked down so harshly by society. There's something inside us they don't bother to see. I marvel at people who'll open their hearts and know deep down inside them they're falling apart. And I wonder if someday they'll think more like me. And the children who are hungry, my quarter goes in. I know that I'll never be Jesus, I might be their friend. And I know somewhere there's a hope and a care from above. The world, all it needs is more of your love. She looks in the mirror, she finds her clean face, her image so perfect, nothing's out of place. But deep down inside her, she knows her whole soul's been erased. Some people, they're learning, some already know how you look's your disguise and it covers your soul. You've got to have love, faith, and trust in order to grow. And the children who are crying, I'll give you my smile. And I know that a look's just a look, it will last a short while. I know somewhere there's a hope and a care from above. The world, what it needs is more of your love. I look at our faces, I realize that we're strong individuals, we're happy, we're free. There's nothing and no one who can take away our dignity. Some people are strong, yeah, some people are weak. No matter our differences, we can all speak, and we live in this nation devised of equality. And the children who are dying, I'll give you my song. And I know that these words are just words and they won't last for long. And I know somewhere there's a hope, a care from above. The world, all it needs is more of your love. The world, all it needs is more of your love.
Well, that was awesome. Wow, beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's clear that you get it.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
And that was very pretty, and I could, and you know something, that sometimes when I listen to a song from a guest like you, I think, well, it sounds like she's copied it from or copied the inflection of the song from someone else, but that sounded totally original.
Thank you.
At first, I thought I heard green sleeves in there, but not even close. You know that one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Green Sleeve.
Yeah,
That's
from
so
like,
funny. I had a music box
Right.
that sang that. growing
Exactly,
up, and
okay.
I listened to it all the time.
So what inspired you to write that?
Actually, funny story.
Okay. We
So
like those.
funny story.
Okay.
I don't know if it's funny. It's kind of like, wow.
Whatever,
So,
wow works.
You know, I grew up in a household. Things weren't always perfect,
Okay.
and you know, there's some fighting, some addiction things in my family. So sometimes I was like I said, like before bed, I like to play songs a lot to kind of soothe myself, almost like lullaby. And I was having a kind of a rough night. I was reading some poetry and some books, and I'm an empath, like very strongly an empath. So
Okay.
when things happen in the world and I'm really like sad about it, you know, I'll go to sleep thinking about it sometimes. So I woke up in the middle of the night and this song just came to me. It was like 2 a.m.
Wow.
I jumped out of bed, got my notebook, and I wrote down the words. It just like came to me like a vision. And I've been practicing it ever since. That was when I was pretty young too. So
That's awesome.
It's really important to me. So yeah.
Well, guess what? We're in the final 5 minutes of the show.
Oh my.
So I'm ready to go
Well,
by. So a couple of
quickly.
things I want to tell you. First of all, they have if you want to do, I don't know, you say you do poetry. They have a person who has a show here on Thursday, like the last Thursday every month. If you want to come in and maybe participate and maybe play some of your music, I love getting people, networking people, and getting them to opportunities like that. That's number one. Number two, if you had fun with me tonight, well, first of all, I want you to do is to give shouts out to people that are going to see the show, because a lot of them you can start with your own son, your whoever, just family members, friends, and then I'm just gonna say what I have to tell you, and we'll wrap the show up.
Wonderful. So yes, definitely my son Robbie. He's my reason for living. Some of my Rob, his dad, and Shauna, definitely their support. My best friend Carolyn, my friend Jenna, my friend Emily, my friend Ashley. They've really just been so wonderful to have in my life right now and always. And even if we don't see each other for a while, we always pick things back up where
I
we
understand.
left off.
That's sometimes there is space between close people. I understand how that works. But what I was going to also say to you is that if you know anybody, if you had fun with being on my show tonight, if you know any people that are into music or entertainment, or even acting, filmmaking, modeling, whatever, send them over to me, because I get a lot of my guests to word of mouth.
Yeah.
I've been on Facebook for almost 10 years, and I get almost the limit of friends, 5,000. And I most of the people I get from my show, like you, I get from Facebook. I look at somebody holding a guitar and looks talented, and I say, "How'd you like to be on my show?"
I was like floored. I said, "Whoa, okay."
Right.
That's
No,
great.
I know. Well, there you
That's
go.
great.
But
Yeah.
now what I'm gonna, like I said, what I'm gonna ask you to do,
Yeah.
just to return the favor, if you can, is to see
Yeah.
if you can find other people out there. Just don't go out of your way to find them. But if you happen to know anybody that you like,
Yeah.
any of those people you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And if you had fun, just pass the word along about topic time, and
Absolutely.
and have them text me, and all that stuff. You got my info.
Yes, absolutely. I will.
Well,
I
did
will.
you have fun with me?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can't wait.
So I want again, Jenna, Lynn Austin. Thank you for being. You have a really cool name for music, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
anything with
Thanks
Austin
for
is
that.
great for music anyway. Okay, like Austin, Texas, Austin Heights.
That's my favorite place. Is
Right,
Austin,
there you go.
Texas.
Austin city limits, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, Janet too. All right. So we're gonna wrap the show up, and when we wrap it up, you ready to, like we did at the
Oh, yeah.
beginning? All right.
Do
Well,
it.
pretty
Let's
much.
do it.
Okay, let's do it. Covers it all, folks. Thanks for watching Topic Time. More great episodes to follow. See you next time. Take care. Have a good one.